Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us tonight. Pardon us for starting a few moments late. We noticed a number of cars streaming in, and it becomes a little bit more difficult to find a seat once the lights go out. So, are you enjoying yourself already? Oh, we haven't even started yet. There's not much to enjoy except for good company, but I'm glad to have you with us tonight. My name is Jay Smith, pastor here at Cedar Park Church. We've had a great several nights here this week with this production, A Light in the Attic. It is a great production. There's a great message. It's a great time. I mean, the cast, the orchestra, all in all, you're going to be pleased that you came tonight. Let me just give you a little bit of what to expect. The play, tonight's production is set into two different scenes. The first scene will be about an hour, and then we'll have about a 15-minute intermission. At the beginning of that, before the clock starts ticking, by the way, so don't worry, we're going to have an opportunity for an offering. If you appreciate this production tonight and you'd like to be a part of partnering with us to cover the expenses of it and future productions, we'd invite you to be a part of that. But then we'll have copies. If you can wander around, use the restroom. Our cafe will be open. There's some baked goods for donation. It'll just be a fun time, just to hopefully meet some new friends and be acquainted with old friends, not age-wise, but just length of time you've known them. That might be offensive to introduce somebody as an old friend, but we're glad you're here tonight. So without further ado, let me thank you for joining us tonight and introduce this evening's production of A Light in the Attic.
Did you find it yet, honey?
No, not yet. Hold on a second. There's another old trunk in here. Maybe it's in there, though it looks like it hasn't been opened in years.
Was that it? Is it in there? Honey? We need to hurry or we'll be late for the Christmas Eve service. Did you find that antique light your mom used for the mantle decoration?
What? Oh, no, it wasn't in there. But I found something else.
What? What did you find?
Looks like an old journal or something. Very detailed. Will you look at the date?
December 24, 1899. Wow.
Can you believe it? This was written over 100 years ago.
Who wrote it?
It doesn't say. There's some pages missing here at the front.
Oh, well, read some of it. Maybe that'll tell us.
Okay. Let's see. December 24th, 1899. The day before the Christmas holiday. Did not get much activity out of anybody. Understandable, I suppose. The closing whistle is about to blow.
The closing whistle is about to blow, and I'll be heading home to prepare for the Christmas party. I hope that Laura remembered to pick up the candlestick holders from Timothy. The Christmas party, one of my favorite things about the season. The lights, the warmth, the food, the music and dancing, the fellowship of good people. What a marvelous time we'll have. There it is, right on time. Good afternoon, Mr. Jefferson. Ready to knock off for the day?
Yes, indeed, sir. Ready to go home and get ready for a certain Christmas party. Aren't we, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, Mr. MacFie, we're so excited. Are you sure there's nothing we can bring?
Just yourself, my dear, just yourself and all of the warmth and good cheer you can carry with you.
I think we'll be able to bring along an ample supply of that, sir.
So, Mr. MacFie, have you got anything exciting planned for the last Christmas party of the 19th century?
That's right, it is, isn't it? Well, you'll just have to come along and find out for yourself, won't you, Mr. Jefferson?
You can count on it, sir. Come on, Emily. Come on, everybody. Let's close things up. I think he's got something big planned.
Right?
Wouldn't miss it, Mr. MacFie.
Oh, Frank, Emily, may I see you for a moment?
Oh, sure thing, Mr. Mac.
Could you go to the shop and get me the work in progress book? And Emily, I know you've been pulling double duty as bookkeeper and secretary the last few months, and I want you to know I appreciate it. Do you think you could find me the accounts ledger in the office?
That's all right, Mr. MacFie. I'm glad I could help out. Surely you're not thinking of staying and working any longer, are you, sir?
No. I'm just expecting a visit from...
Oh, don't tell me. That Mr. Wellstone?
Yes.
Well, I must say, I don't envy you, sir.
I know. He's not the most likable fellow.
That's an understatement.
Now, Frank, let's not be uncharitable.
He's certainly uncharitable enough.
Well, regardless, I must meet with him if we're to get this loan, and he must be sufficiently impressed with our operation to think it's worth the risk.
Well, there should be no problem then.
That's right. What's not to be impressed with? We've got the best furniture manufacturing business in 5 counties.
Well, you and I know that to be
And you've
true,
had no
but...
trouble getting a loan in the past.
That's right. You know, just for those times when we've needed a bit to get through a downturn.
Yes, but this Mr. Wellstone is a new loan officer at the bank, and he has a bit of a reputation.
It's that modernization push, isn't it, sir?
Yes, I'm afraid that there are those that see us as a bit behind the times.
Behind the times, indeed. If being behind the times means putting out the most well-crafted, handmade furniture that you can buy anywhere, then I guess I'd just as soon be behind the times.
Have you seen the kind of merchandise that new King Spindle carving machine puts out? I wouldn't trust the weight of my Aunt Sophie's pet parakeet to one of those chairs, much less my own.
Now, you know, we've had this little conversation a few hundred times before. I know that we don't need to be convinced, but we do need to convince Mr. Wellstone.
I'm sorry, sir. Just the thought of that machine taking over our shop.
It's appalling is what it is. Putting out chairs and cabinets at such a pace. No craftsmanship. No pride in design.
I know, I understand. But things will work out, you'll see. And after we get that loan, maybe we can finally hire that bookkeeper. You'd like that, wouldn't you, Emily?
I know my daughter would love that.
Yes.
Now run fetch me those books, and let's forget all this gloomy talk for the rest of the afternoon. It's Christmas Eve and nearly time for the party.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Now, you all know how to get to my home, correct? It's 2 blocks down Main Street, turn right on Fox Hollow Road, about a mile out on Fox Hollow. Our house is up the hill and on the left. Now, be sure to bring all of your sleds and toboggans. There's some mighty good sledding on our hill, and maybe we'll even have a snowball fight or two, if a little fun is all right with Mrs. Olsen here.
Now, Mr. MacFie, if you grown men want to act like little boys, that's none of my concern.
Thank you, Mrs. Olsen.
Mr. MacFie, are we to bring our children then?
Certainly, Mrs. Merriweather. The more, the merrier. And our Joe and Clara will love the company amongst all of these adults.
Here you are, Mr. MacFie.
Thank you. And thanks to all of you for your efforts today. Now, please, everyone, be careful on your way to the party tonight.
Oh, bother. I forgot my cap back in the shop. I'll see you guys later, though.
Well, Mrs. Olsen, did you get much activity out of your seamstresses today?
No, sir, I did not. All they wanted to do is talk about Christmas and the party tonight and the turning of the new century.
Well, it's all a bit exciting, don't you think?
If you say so. Just another year, I say. Another year of wars, first in Cuba and now the Philippines. Another year of poverty. There are entirely too many people moving into this country. And the scandals in Congress and crime in the streets. Why, things are changing so fast, people don't even know what decent behavior is anymore. And the things you see in public, just the other day.
My, such a gloomy outlook. Why not look at all of the good that's been accomplished the last 100 years? Railroads, steamboats, electricity, telephone, plumbing. And I'm sure that the good Lord has many more marvelous things in store for us. Certainly, we must hold on to our values and traditions, but think of all the wonderful possibilities.
And pitfalls and temptations.
Yes, there will be plenty of those, not the least of which is the temptation to see the absolute worst in everything, eh, Nettie Olsen?
Oh, Mr. MacFie.
Well, anyway, Nettie Olsen, I hope that the party tonight will be only a time of good cheer for you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. MacFie. You make sure to tell Laura I'm bringing my famous custard pie for tonight's festivities.
Well, I'm sure that will be appreciated. We shall see you this evening. Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. MacFie.
Good afternoon, Mr. MacFie.
Oh, Mr. Wellstone, come in, come in. Welcome to the Pennsylvania Handcrafted Furniture Company.
Thank you.
How are things down at the bank?
Very well, thank you. Shall we get down to business?
Certainly, I have my books right here.
Yes, I see. Thank you.
So, are you ready for Christmas, Mr. Wellstone?
I suppose.
Will you spend it with family?
I will probably see my parents tomorrow, yes.
Oh, I do envy you. My own parents have passed on. My only living relative is my father's sister. She lives with us.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a married man, Mr. Wellstone?
No, I'm not.
Well, I find that surprising. A fine, upstanding man such as
Mr.
yourself...
MacFie, I am trying to concentrate on your books and cannot do so with your distracting conversation.
So sorry, sir. Do you ever have the opportunity to... Sorry.
Yes.
So is the...
Well, everything does seem to be in perfect order. You do have a well-run business here, Mr. MacFie.
Thank you, sir.
But, as you know, our concern is not so much how you are doing now, as much as what your plans are for the future.
You want to know if I'm willing to modernize my shop?
Yes. You see, the Pine River Bank and Trust is a progressive institution, always looking to the future, always watching for the latest innovations and the most forward-looking businesses. That's where we want to put our money, sir. Not with those who are stuck in the past, those who will not embrace the latest technologies, and those who refuse to throw aside the archaic thinking of the past and step boldly and confidently into the new. What?
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you up to a point.
You do?
Certainly, I know that I always need to be looking for ways to upgrade and improve my business, but don't you think there's a wisdom in holding on to your basic values?
Nonsense, Mr. MacFie. There is nothing that has been done in the past that can't be done better in the future. Progress. The act of moving forward. Regress is only going backward. What I'm saying, what I'm conveying, can only be for the betterment and future of this company. For instance, there once was a man with a bumper crop, to haul to town to sell. But since it was large, he could move it not. What to do he could not tell. Along came someone, stroking thoughtful chin. I see your dilemma is real. I have what you need. Take it for a spin, try it out. It's called a wheel. Invention is prevention from stale and stagnant thinking. Yes, headway is the way to keep your boat from sinking. Also, remember the past, just the dark end time, when the only source of light could come from the sun or the moon above, or a lamp with oil bright. But then came a man I call Dr. Tom, though some do call him Edison. His dream burst to light when he birthed the bulb. He prescribed the needed medicine. Enhancement. Why advancement? Now that's the means for growing. So sign here. Yes, right here. And keep your business going. Just think of all the progressive inventions that have helped improve our lives. Coca-Cola, cotton candy, and potato chips. Blue jeans by Levi Strauss. Escalators, fountain pens, and the paper clip, a better mousetrap for every house. Vacuum cleaners, motion pictures, and the rubber band. And of course, the telephone ring, hello. Motorcycles, toilet paper, revolving doors, the phonograph. What a beauteous tune. Who knows what is next? Only time will tell. Perhaps man will take to flight through the sky, amidst the stars, maybe to the moon. Of someone with visionary sight. So, John MacFie, I implore of you from the Pine River Bank and Trust. The loan that you need, will you now secure? You must modernize or bust. The future is yours. You must hold it fast. Now strike while the iron is hot. Yes, this is your chance, your opportunity. And if not, not regress, but progress. Now that's the path for taking. The fast track is the track. A great future you'll be making.
But Mr. Wellstone, I'm the last person to stand in the way of progress. As long as it's good progress, as long as it's useful progress.
All progress is useful progress.
I don't agree. I don't think we should do everything just because we can. I can't just modernize everything in my factory. Think of all the people that I would put out of work. We couldn't possibly maintain the quality of our product. Look at the name of the company, Mr. Wellstone, the Pennsylvania Handcrafted Furniture Company. It's what we're known for. It means a quality that our customers have come to expect.
Names can be changed, Mr. MacFie. And you would be surprised at what people will get used to if it doesn't cost as much.
I refuse to take that view of my customers, sir. And again, I must think of my employees. The bank has never refused us before, and we have always been prompt in our repayment.
Well, MacFie, it's a very simple idea, really. Those who don't keep up are left behind. And the bank cannot take a risk on those who choose not to keep up.
But...
Good evening, sir.
Wait. Mr. Wellstone, I have something for you.
Bribery, Mr. MacFie?
No, not that. It's a gift, a reminder of the season. I give one to a friend or acquaintance every year. My aunt makes them.
How quaint. Are you sure you're not trying to influence my decision?
With a Christmas angel ornament.
Yes, I see what you mean. Well, thank you. Does it have some special significance to you?
It's just a reminder of a marvelous announcement of a glorious event.
Oh, of course, I see. And possibly a reminder to me to be charitable to your business at this time of year.
My, such a cynic, Mr. Wellstone.
Often a requirement in my line of work, I assure you.
I don't know if I believe that. If true, though, I would have to find a new line of work.
I'm sure you would.
Are you too much of a cynic to accept an invitation to a Christmas party? I throw one for my employees every year, and I'd like for you to meet them.
Another attempt to appeal to my Christmas spirit, Mr. MacFie? I assure you, I do not let considerations such as Christmas enter into my decision-making.
I'm sure that you don't. But the invitation still stands, and you would be more than welcome.
Well, we'll see. But if I do, don't expect any miracles.
Oh. I always expect miracles, Mr. Wellstone.
Well, that's what it would take for the loan committee to approve your loan without the changes that I've outlined. Sorry to be so blunt.
I understand, sir.
Well, I really must be going. Again, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Wellstone. The meeting with the loan officer did not go well. It seems I'm to have some difficult decisions to make.
If I change with the times, will the times change me for better or for worse? If I choose either way has with it a blessing and a curse. With one I receive the means to go on, but oh, at what a cost. With the other I remain true to my ideals. But my dream, it could be lost. I'm in between the two. That's why I ask of you, what to do. When I was a boy, I tinkered round with wood, walnut, oak, and pine. Like playing with a toy, never chance I could. I dream some new design. I guess you could say there's pitch in my blood. That's my legacy. Still, this news today hits me like a flood. Choices left to me. I'm in between the two. My grandpapa, I'm sure, and Papa, they'd know what to do. I'm holding a stone I'm about to throw into a placid lake. But just how far the ripples go is more than I can take. Yet, God, I know that you heard my plea. You guided me before. As I hold this stone, I know that you're holding me. Please help me.
I do not look forward with having to give this news to my good employees, but it will have to wait until after the holidays. I don't want to ruin their Christmas. I'll just put this all aside for tonight and tomorrow at least.
All aside for tonight and tomorrow at least. You know who this is, don't you? This is my great-grandfather's journal.
Your great-grandfather?
Yes, on my mother's side. I remember hearing that he was in the furniture manufacturing business. His name is John. I'm sure of it.
This is really something, Jeff. Your great-grandfather in 1899 was having to deal with the same kind of thing we're having to deal with today?
Yeah, remarkable coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, coincidence.
What do you mean?
Oh, nothing.
Well, our situations aren't exactly the same.
Yes, that's true. You don't own a company, but we are facing the loss of your job because of new technology.
You don't have to remind me, Lynette.
I'm not reminding you. I think it's pretty amazing that we run across this journal right after you find out about your job.
Oh, yes, it's all very providential, I'm sure. What, you think we're going to find the answers to all of our problems in here?
I'm not saying that. I just think it's interesting is all.
I know. I'm sorry. You're right. It's kind of a touchy subject.
You can say that, yes. So at least your great-grandfather had the decency to keep the bad news quiet until after Christmas. Too bad your bosses didn't feel the same way.
Yeah, it kind of makes for a bleak holiday and a lousy way to start the new year. As if we didn't have enough to worry about.
I still can't believe we're being hit with this right now. On top of everything else, it seems so unfair.
It is unfair. Season of peace, joy, and goodwill. Yeah, right. You know, it's kind of why I'm not in the mood for your Christmas Eve church stuff. It's so irrelevant. It just mocks what we're going through.
I just thought it would take your mind off your job for a while.
What job?
Oh, you know what I mean. What did your great-grandfather do after he got the bad news? Keep reading.
I'm telling you, Lynette, we're not going to find the answers to our problems in here.
I didn't say we would. I just want to know what happened. What did he write about after he met with the bank guy?
All right. Let's see. It looks like he just closed up shop and went home to get ready for the Christmas party.
Good Christmas Eve to all in this house. Hello, my little ones. What is all of this excitement?
Oh, Father, tomorrow's Christmas.
It is? Tomorrow? Really? It can't be.
Yes, it is.
Well, you must be right then. Tomorrow is Christmas, and have you been a good boy and girl today?
Oh, yes, Papa.
And who can tell me what is happening tonight?
The Christmas party!
And have you been helping Mother get everything ready today?
No, they have not. Unless by helping
hoping you mean getting underfoot all day and sneaking a taste of everything we've been baking today.
Well, that definitely sounds like helping to me. And did all of the baked goods meet with your approval?
Mm-hmm. I should have known you'd take their side. You usually manage to sneak a taste or two of everything I bake also.
It's just your cooking, my dear. It's irresistible.
Flatterer.
Did it work?
Of course.
Laura, you have made this house look and smell just like Christmas.
Well, it's really more Winifred than me. I just help.
Papa, what does Christmas smell like?
Christmas smells like bread baking and a goose roasting, that wonderful pine scent and candles glowing, a little cinnamon, a little spice. That's what little girls are made of. That's everything nice.
And there's the sleigh riding and ice skating and making snow angels with you, my darling. And then into the house, warmed by the fire. That's where you and I will be, dear, this Christmas
Christmas is wonder, wrapped up in ribbon, topped with a bright red bow. It's when our hearts fill with joy, peace, and goodwill. Yes, that's why we love it so. Lights glowing and a star shining on the highest most bough, like a bird that's nestling. Because our lumberjack, whose name is Joe, helped me cut this very tree in a field of snow.
Oh, Joe and Clara, look who it is! Carolers! Can they come in, Mother? Certainly they can.
Come in, come in!
Come on in out of the cold.
You're just in time to join us.
Christmas is also bells tolling, sweet choir singing, proclaiming great news of our Savior's coming into this very world. A King is born. That's how God showed everyone how much He loves them. Sing with me. Christmas is Jesus, born in a manger in Bethlehem that day. Though
part as a round. I'll sing it through the first time for any of you who don't know it. Christmas comes but once a year. Let us sing joyfully, loud and clear. Christ the Savior was born that night. That's why we sing now with all our might. Get ready, group one. Here we go. Christmas comes but once a year. Let us sing joyfully, loud and clear. Christ the Savior was born that night. That's why we sing now with all our might. With all our might. Sing now with all our might. Bravo! Christmas is wonder, wrapped up in ribbon, topped with a bright red bow. It's when our hearts fill with joy, peace, and goodwill. Yes, that's why we love it so. Christmas is glory. From this great story, we celebrate in song. Let us remember not just December, but Christmas is all year long. That's why we love it so.
Oh, John, you're such an old romantic.
Guilty as charged, Your Honor. Say, did the new man, what was his name? Templeton? Did Mr. Templeton start today?
Yes, he did. Seems like a very decent fellow. Minnie is showing him around and filling him in on the routine right now.
I do hate for the poor man's first day of work to be the day of the Christmas party, but it couldn't be helped.
No, and I'm so grateful he could come in and join the staff on such short notice after Mr. Davis had to leave.
We packed some cookies and fudge for Mr. Davis to take to his mother in Pittsburgh.
Well, that was very kind of you two, and I'm sure it's just the thing that his ailing mother will need to recover. And speaking of cookies and fudge, I think that now would be a great time to sneak a taste or two of whatever's baking in the kitchen, don't you?
Let's go, Papa.
Winifred, guard the cookie platters. They're coming in.
And here we are, back to the parlor.
Well, it certainly is a lovely home.
And you couldn't ask for a nicer family to work for than the MacFies. We are practically as much a part of the family as their own kin.
And how long have you been their housekeeper?
Oh, I guess it's been 3 years now.
So let me see if I have everyone's names correct. We have Mr. and Mrs. MacFie, John and Laura, and their 2 children, Joe and Clara. Then there's Winifred Schwintek, the cook, and you, and the stable hand.
Andrew.
Yes, that's right. Andrew Roberts.
And don't forget Aunt Letty.
Oh, yes, Aunt Letty. Now, we passed by her room, but I did not meet her. Whose aunt is she?
She is John's father's sister, and her name is Letitia, but everyone calls her Aunt Letty. She is a bit unusual.
Yes,
you will find.
You mentioned that before. Now, how so?
Well, she's never quite the same. You see, she'll be one day
Out of this kitchen! I declare, John MacFie, if these children are ever going to learn any manners from you, those manners are never going to be learned from you, will you?
I tried to warn you, John. I told you she wouldn't take kindly to sampling the goodies today.
You were so right, my dear. We are very sorry, Winifred. Children, we must apologize to Winifred.
We're sorry, Winifred.
Oh, darlings, I know it's not you. Oh! Oh!
Oh, John, you are going to put our poor cook in the madhouse one of these days.
I'm sorry, my dear. I really am. I'll make it up to her later, I promise. Perhaps we can throw in a tango or two at the Christmas party just for Winifred.
Not the tango, John. You know what that does to her.
Yes, I know. Hello, Minnie, and welcome, Mr. Templeton. We are so pleased that you could join us on such short notice. Children, have you met Mr. Templeton?
Yes, they have. And I'm sure he's having second thoughts about working here after seeing how you treat the staff. Please excuse him, Mr. Templeton. John and Winifred have an understanding. He promises to be as annoying as possible if she will promise to always be annoyed.
No, ma'am, not at all. Your home seems like a marvelous place in which to serve, and your family and staff and Miss Schwintek are delightful.
So no wife and children of your own, Mr. Templeton?
Oh, no, sir. A confirmed old bachelor, that's me.
Well, and Minnie has given you the grand tour, has she?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Minnie, Miss Lytle, has shown me all around and introduced me to everyone. Everyone except Aunt Letty.
Oh, yes, Aunt Letty. Well, I'm sure you will find her quite...
Good evening, everyone. Oh, hello, Miss Lytle.
Hello, Mr. Roberts.
Hi, hey, kids. Hey, look what I have for you. You and
wow.
For you. Here you
Thanks,
go.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Why don't you two run along and get ready for the party?
Okay, Mama.
Good afternoon, Mr. Roberts. Is the barn ready to take in all those horses and carriages this evening?
That it is, sir. Fresh hand water and all the stalls raked out and cleaned.
Good man.
My goodness, what are you all doing standing around out here? Have you forgotten a little something called a Christmas party happening here in a few minutes? Get all the extra help in here and let's go. Let's get to work. Let's go. Let's go.
Work, no time for fun.
Work is work, nothing can change that. There's a direction that the word does imply. But if we can rearrange it, there's a method that will make the time fly. Come try it, come buy it, no virtual price tag. The newest way to clean the sea is called the dust rag rag. So when you sweep and the bristles make them sweat up and dry, the dirt will dance away. And when you wax in the bacon, and I'm sure you will see, the floor will shine this day. And when you find your task grows weary,
Christmas, everyone!
Ah, Your Majesty, we are so pleased that you could join us.
Yes, we decided we would move among the common folk on this festive occasion. Well, we are so pleased that you decided to do so, Your Majesty. Aren't we, everyone? Well, thank you, thank you. Now, just pretend that we are one of you. How gracious of you, Your Majesty. Would you like tea and crumpets in the kitchen? Oh, that sounds delicious, dear. Is this a new member of the household staff, John?
Yes, this is Mr. Templeton. He is very pleased to be of service to you.
Yes, pleased to be of service to you, Your Majesty.
Not Your Majesty. Remember, pretend that we are one of you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
A very well-mannered gentleman, John. We like him.
Aunt Lettie?
Aunt Lettie?
You could have warned me.
Oh, do forgive me. She's a bit difficult to describe. She's quite harmless, really, a very, very sweet lady. Sometimes she just fancies herself Queen Victoria, when other times it's someone else. And now and then, she's just herself, which is still a bit odd. Sometimes I think she does it just to amuse herself, but you're never quite sure.
And we all just play along?
We all just play along.
It definitely keeps things lively and interesting around here.
It does at that, but now it's time to get serious. Attention! Minnie, you and Templeton will take coats and hats at the door, and you will stay there. That's your position. Andrew, when the carriages are settled, you will come in and assist as needed.
Perhaps Miss Lytle would need some assistance?
There will be none of that, Mr. Roberts.
Yes, ma'am.
There will be no tomfoolery. This party is serious business. So, now, when you open the door and you take the coats and the hats, make sure that you have all of them.
What? Oh, Miss Schwintek! Miss Schwintek!
Oh, carriages.
Yes.
Coming down the road.
Yes.
Everyone to their posts, and I will go and tell Mr. and Mrs. MacFie that their guests are coming.
man, are you having a good time?
I guess so, Mr. Jefferson.
You don't sound too sure about that.
I'm a little worried about our jobs.
Why is that?
Well, Miss Jefferson, I overheard Mr. MacFie this afternoon talking with the man from the bank.
Mr. Wellstone, yes?
Yes, that's him. He was telling Mr. MacFie that we'd all have to be let go.
I'm sure you misunderstood.
No, I'm telling you. He was telling Mr. MacFie that if he wanted the loan, he'd have to modernize the shop. And that would mean he'd have to lay off some of his workers.
Mr. MacFie is laying off workers?
Beautiful is the mother, beautiful is the son.
We're being laid off?
I'm sure Mr. MacFie would never agree to anything like that. Let's try to find him.
Above thy deep and dreamless
Have you heard the news?
What news?
I overheard someone talking a few minutes ago, and they were saying that Mr. MacFie may have to lay us all off.
No, why would he do that?
Something about a bank loan he has to get. And I did see that Mr. Vernon Wellstone on his way to the workshop this afternoon.
No, that doesn't sound right. Let's go find him.
I had hoped to not share this news with you until after the holidays, but it seems that events have conspired against me and I shall have to speak now. I'm sorry to tell you that it is true. In order to keep the business alive, I may be forced to cut many of your jobs. all this on Christmas Eve. Now that the waltz last strains but a memory, and every horse's stall stands now empty. Can it be Mr. MacFie truly would let us go? It's a puzzle and a mystery.
We've been loyal, giving him our best. And what does he give back?
Betrayal.
And what hurts most, we thought we knew him well.
Is profit all he thinks about?
We're all in shock at what has transpired.
And at the chance that we could be hired.
Answers are lost, but we're at a loss to know what he's going to do. The answer's clear as rain, like trying to explain a puzzle and a mystery.
Poor great-grandfather MacFie, his whole Christmas party ruined.
Looks like everyone's Christmas is ruined.
Isn't it crazy how life just turns a corner and all of a sudden everything changes?
Yeah, tell me about it.
No, I mean, think of those people at the turn of the century. Everything going pretty well, looking forward to the future, then one thing happens and suddenly the future doesn't look so rosy.
Well, for us, it's certainly been more than one thing. It's more like one thing after another. Sometimes it's just too much.
I know, it seems like we're a little overwhelmed right now, but...
But what? If we just hold on, everything's going to work out all right? Come on, Lynette.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
What then?
Well, I don't know, not that. I know it's going to take more than just wishing that things will get better.
But isn't that what all your church stuff is? Wishing and hoping?
Hoping, maybe not wishing.
What's the difference?
Well, I can wish for a lot of things, and I know it's all just in my head that wishing it won't make it better. And I can wish you still had your job. I can wish we still had some money in savings. I can wish that Shelley was making better choices. I can wish our life was simpler.
Our life really is messed up.
No, listen, I can wish that all that stuff didn't happen in the past, and that doesn't do me any good. But hoping is different. Hoping is believing that those things can change in the future.
You don't give up, do you? You still think we're going to find all the answers to our problems in here?
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened.
What?
I said, stranger things have happened. I know you're sitting there wondering how in the world this problem can be resolved. And I'm saying, we've been through worse. And God has always pulled us through. What makes you think He won't pull us through this?
I know, but this involves so many more people than just us. Did you see the fear in their faces? Did you hear the hurt in their voices? I feel so responsible for these people and their families.
I understand, and you've always taken that responsibility seriously. But there comes a time when you can't control everything. You can't blame yourself because the world is changing.
I just can't get away from the feeling that I'm holding the fate of so many good people in my hands.
Well, stop feeling that way, because you don't. You have strong hands, dear, but they weren't meant for that kind of burden. There are much larger hands holding these people.
You're right, of course. Still, it's hard to get the words and pictures out of my mind. Such a joyous occasion turns so miserable.
I know. Things were said tonight that should not have been said.
I know they were just shocked and suddenly fearful for their futures, but...
But it still hurts.
Yes, it hurts. How can they think this would be anything but a wrenching decision for me? On the one hand, I faced the possibility of losing a generations-old business, a business that was passed down to me by my father and to him by his father, a craft that's in my blood. On the other hand is the likelihood that my good friends and faithful employees will lose their jobs. How can I make a decision like that? How can they think this would be easy for me?
I don't understand it either. They know you as a most compassionate man. They know you are a good employer.
Am I? We have come to the point of needing this loan to stay in business.
Oh, John, don't begin to question yourself. You have been an upright man and businessman. You did not cause this. You are not responsible for the state of the current economy.
Father, is everything gonna be all right?
Goodness, son, what are you doing up?
I couldn't sleep. I was worried. Me too.
Well, I thought you two were asleep hours ago. Okay, then. Come on down here, then, you little night owl.
Are we gonna be all right, Father?
Of course we are. There's nothing for you two to worry about.
It didn't sound that way at the parties tonight.
I know. And I'm sorry you two had to hear that.
That was just a lot of worried people talking tonight, my dears. I'm sure they didn't mean much of what was said.
Then why did they say them?
Well, you say things that you don't mean sometimes, don't you?
Well, yes. I guess so.
Children, things are a bit difficult down at the shop right now, but as your mother so wisely reminded us, the good Lord will see us through.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. Would you two like to hear a little story?
Once upon a time, two kindred souls did dwell in a cottage deep in the wood. Never was a love as pure and strong as theirs. That was something all understood.
With his hands he formed and fashioned from his heart a lovely chair, the likes that she'd never seen. So each time she sat, she'd say, "My love, my all, oh, you treat me just like a queen."
Next a table came, a dresser and a stool. Soon their cottage was furnished to a T. Through the townward spread,
creating great demand
for furniture of fine quality.
Business started well,
And soon began to grow, and the need to hire help was clearly known. Then there came a day when money did grow thin, and they worried with sigh and moan. So to get a loan, automation had to be used, so that they would have to let some workers go. This would break his heart,
and of the one he loved,
they were forced to answer yes or no. what the two would do, we actually do not know, for the tale is left to us undone. But we know that God, the author of our tale, will complete what he has begun.
Oh dear, someone ate all the cookies. Oh, getting old is so unpleasant. Now, what was I doing? That was it. Coming. Oh, do be patient. I'm old, you know.
Is Mr. MacFie here?
Yes, he is. Come in, please.
Could I see him, please?
Yes, I'm sure that you could.
Would you be kind enough to go and get him?
You're that man from the bank, aren't you?
I am Vernon Wellstone, yes.
The one that is the cause of all the trouble.
I would hardly say that I am the cause of the trouble.
Oh, and who would you say is the cause of the trouble?
Well, it's not a who, really. It's a...
What?
Exactly.
Exactly what?
Well, I don't know exactly what.
You don't know exactly what?
The cause of the trouble.
Yes.
Yes, what?
I don't know.
You don't know what?
The cause of the trouble. I thought it was you.
I told you it's not a who, it's a...
What?
Exactly.
Exactly what?
What? No, not this again.
Not what?
No. It is a what?
What's a what?
The cause of the trouble.
I don't know, don't you?
Yes. I mean, no. I mean, I don't know.
Well, don't you think you should know before you go around and start causing all this trouble?
I told you. Who are you, anyway?
You may call us Victoria.
Victoria? Oh, well. Victoria, may I please see Mr. MacFie?
Oh, he won't be able to help you. He thinks you're the cause of the trouble, too.
I told you, I am not the cause of the trouble. Progress, my dear. Progress is the cause of the trouble.
Wouldn't you say that progress is a good thing?
Well, certainly.
Well, then how can such a good thing be the cause of all the trouble?
I don't know. Perhaps it's not progress that's the problem. Perhaps it's...
What?
No! I am not doing that again. What I was going to say is perhaps it's people standing in the way of progress that are the problem. Now, will you please just go and get Mr. MacFie?
Oh, well, I am sure he'll be along presently. Do you know that those problem people are his good friends? That he will have to put out of work if he follows your plan?
Well, I'm sorry about that.
Are you? Are you sorry because of something you did to them? Or are you sorry because you can't help them? Or are you simply sorry because you have to know about it?
I don't know. I'm just sorry. It's the price of progress.
Oh, there's that old progress thing again, causing problems. Are you sure it's such a good thing?
Invention is prevention from stale and stagnant thinking. Yes, headway is the way. Aboard the train that's cold, it's new.
Shoo! But what if you find that train has been on the wrong track all along?
I'm not sure how, but she could be right. No. No.
Progress, though it's wondrous, has consequences to it. For instance, I heard that the invention of the Tootsie Roll was from a mistake. The new ways are no two ways. The best way to pursue it.
You've heard the mother of invention. Is necessity, I'm sure.
I once was a mother. I wonder if that mother had in mind the tempest she would stir.
I do not know. Now, don't get me wrong, but I'm thankful for each gadget and gizmo made.
Like the automated banana peeler? Have you begun to see there's more than money and the open trade?
Does progress, though it's wondrous, have its plus and minus?
Now tarry and be wary.
Yes, I know, Your Highness.
Now tell me, Mr. Wellstone, what if all of this progress made the banks obsolete?
Oh, that will never happen.
Of course, but what if? Would your world be in shambles? Is banking your whole life? If your train is chugging along the wrong track, that's not progress now, is it?
Well, no, I suppose not, but I fail to see the relevance.
You need to expand your world. Open yourself up to new possibilities.
And who are you to tell me?
Frightening thought, though, isn't it?
Well, yes, I suppose it could be.
Do you know what tonight is, Mr. Wellstone?
It's Christmas Eve.
The night when the world was opened up to new possibilities, don't you think?
I don't understand what you're...
And probably quite frightened at the idea, maybe.
Well, yes, maybe.
Do you know what the angel said that night, Mr. Wellstone?
The angel? Do you know you're the second person to mention angels to me today? As a matter of fact, somebody gave something to me earlier. It was in my pocket, my coat pocket here. I can't see.
Vernon Wellstone, I didn't know you were here. How long have you been here?
I'm not sure. Hours, it seems. Who is this person?
This is my father's sister, Letitia. Victoria. What are you doing here? Why did you come back?
I returned because I thought we had unfinished business, and I felt it was unsafe for me to be here earlier this evening.
For goodness sake. Vernon, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Nobody was going to hurt you.
Nevertheless, I felt this was not the best place for me to be when the rumors and accusations started flying.
Well, I apologize for your discomfort.
So I return only to be confronted by Queen Victoria here, who would not inform you of my presence and who inferred all the trouble was my fault.
Oh, no, I believe we decided that progress was to blame.
And who thoroughly confused the issue with her peculiar questions and observations.
Oh, well, I am not confused. Are you confused, John? I think you're the only one confused here, Mr. Wellstone.
I am not confused. This is strictly business, and I would like to know what you intend to do, John.
But it's Christmas Eve. Surely you don't expect me to make a decision tonight.
Well, isn't that why you invited me to this party tonight, to discuss your decision?
Goodness, no, I invited you because I thought you might like to spend Christmas Eve with us.
You invited me because you hope to win me over.
I invited you as a gesture of friendship.
Ah.
Don't you ever get invited to parties, Mr. Wellstone?
Frankly, no. Not unless someone needs something of me.
Well, I feel very sorry for you.
Well, thank you very much, but I don't need your sympathy.
But...
And I don't need your business either. And next time, don't send your addle-brained relatives down to mock me and soften me up and try to make me feel guilty for doing my job. Good night, sir.
Good night.
Aunt Letty, what have you done?
Oh, well, we shall see what I have done.
You don't understand. My company's future just walked out the door.
You think that fellow is your company's future?
I can't stay in business without a loan from his bank.
Well, how do you know?
I don't have time to explain this to you right now.
Why not?
What?
Well, why don't you have time to explain? What else do you have to do?
I have to decide what I'm going to do.
And how are you going to do that?
I don't know. You've got to stop asking me questions.
John? What's happening? I heard yelling.
I'll tell you what's happening. Victoria here has just said something to insult Vernon Wellstone, and he has stormed out of this house with no intention whatever of giving us this loan, no matter what I decide.
Mr. Wellstone was here.
Yes.
With Aunt Letty? Oh, my.
Well, at least it's no longer your decision to make.
You're not helping.
No, John. She's right. I've been upstairs praying that if you just couldn't make this decision, that the decision would be taken out of your hands. Maybe this is God's way of answering that prayer.
But this doesn't answer anything. Now we lose the company, and everybody loses their job.
But now, it's in no other hands except God's hands. Don't be afraid.
But I am. What are we gonna do now?
We wait.
So a page was turned, a change of atmosphere. Was it ashes or a sweet perfume? Troubles did arise, and questions filled our hearts like thorns and thistles in full bloom. Like those in this tale, not knowing where to turn, we as well have questions too. So to you will go, for only you could know. Lord, we ask you, what should we do?
Well, I'll say this much for my great-grandmother. She certainly has a lot of confidence.
It's called faith.
Faith in what? It looks to me like things are getting worse and worse. maybe our situations are a lot alike.
Are you afraid to, Jeff?
Well, if I think about it too much, maybe. Sometimes, if I list it all out in my mind, I just don't understand. My dad dies, so we leave everything we know behind and we move all the way across the country back to this old house to be with my mom, who's not doing very well herself. I think we'd be rewarded for that, but no. Barely 6 months into my new job, I get laid off. So we used up most of our savings on the move out here, so no job, no money, no prospects, stuck in a small town with a sick mother and a daughter who seems to hate us for moving here.
Shelley doesn't hate us.
Could fool me sometimes. She's a different kid since we moved here.
Leaving your friends and starting a new high school is tough.
I know, we uprooted her in a bad time in her life, but we were uprooted too. Sometimes I wish she had a little sympathy for what we're going through. Her bad grades and bad friends aren't helping, on top of everything else.
Maybe she's afraid too.
Afraid of what?
Afraid of not being accepted? Afraid that she better find some friends she can count on because her family might be falling apart?
We are not falling apart.
It might look that way to her.
Well, things have been a little tense around here lately.
You could say that, yes.
But you know what it's like for me, Lynette. I like to be able to look ahead and see the road stretching straight and clear in front of me. Ever since Dad died, I feel like I've stepped through an open door into space. No road, no direction, not even a footpath to follow. I find myself trying to step from one spot to another and find a solid place to stand for a moment. And there aren't any.
But there is a solid place to stand if you would just...
You're starting to sound like my great-grandmother. In fact, she kind of reminds me of you.
Me? Why?
Well, you have a lot of confidence or faith or whatever you call it.
Well, I'm afraid even with a little bit of faith, I don't feel terribly confident.
No, much more than me. More than my great-grandfather, it seems.
I feel sorry for great-grandfather MacFie. I am kind of anxious to keep reading and see how it all works out.
How do you know it works out? This isn't some story that we're reading. This actually happened. In real life, people actually do lose their businesses and their jobs for stupid reasons. And nobody steps in and saves the day.
But there is someone who steps in to save the day with hope. Because that someone can see the road ahead. He knows the way.
Let me guess. God.
Your great-grandmother could see that.
Yeah? I always knew that my grandparents were religious people. I just never realized it made a difference in their everyday lives.
And if it did for them, maybe.
But the thing is, Lynette, if God can see what's up ahead, why doesn't he tell me anything?
Maybe we just have to wait.
Hold on. Oh, hold your horses. What kind of decent people are calling at this hour of the night? Oh, Mr. Jeffers, Miss Jeffers. What in the world?
We're sorry, Winifred. We know it's late.
What are you two doing here?
Don't you think you've caused enough trouble already tonight?
And the things you people said.
And do you know what time it is?
We know. But we need to see Mr. MacFie.
Well, he may not want to see you.
Frank, Emily, what are you doing here? It's nearly midnight.
We know it's late, sir, and we apologize. But we need to talk to you. May we come in?
Yes, please, come in. I'm just so surprised to see you. What can I do for you?
Well, here's the thing, sir. I mean, about earlier this evening. It's just that, well...
Oh, Mr. MacFie, we're so sorry about the things we said and did tonight.
That's right, John. We were angry, and we just reacted without thinking.
But we've had time to think now, and we couldn't go to sleep on Christmas Eve without coming back to tell you how sorry we are.
We were wrong to blame you for something you don't have any control over.
And we know you've done everything you can to make things work out for us.
I don't know what to say. Apology accepted, of course. You don't know what it means to me to have the two of you come back here tonight. Do you think any of the others will?
Has the world gone mad? Oh, land's sakes, people.
Ben Ellison. Nettie Olsen.
Mr. MacFie, we've come back to apologize for our behavior earlier.
We had no call to say those things, and we're sorry.
Thank you both so much. Come in, come in. Frank and Emily have just arrived.
Oh, did you come for
Yes, we felt the same way you did.
We should know.
This is just so wonderful. Could you excuse me a minute? I must go get Laura.
You know, he's not gonna...
Yes, came to say could you for
And Ben Ellison and Nettie Olsen and the rest of them.
We've all come here for the same reason. Mr. and Mrs. MacFie, our humble hearts receive. All of us here do agree, sure as it's Christmas Eve. No matter what you decide, one thing you should know. We're here
restored my faith tonight.
John, Laura, what's all the commotion? Is he here yet?
Aunt Lettie, Victoria, why are you still up? Is who here yet?
Now who is it?
Silence! It's about time you showed up.
May I come in?
Yes. Come in. Come in.
Thank you. I'm sure you're all wondering why I'm here.
You can say that, yes.
The fact is, I'm not really sure myself. Something Queen Victoria told me. Anyway, I've been wandering around for the past... Well, I'm not really sure how long it's been ever since I left Mr. MacFie earlier this evening, and I arrived back at this doorstep. So it seems there is some unfinished...
Vernon Wellstone, you know exactly why you're here.
Aunt Lettie, perhaps it would be best if you just let us...
No, Mr. MacFie, please, let her speak. Why am I here?
It's Christmas Eve, Vernon. You came to show us your Christmas present, of course.
Christmas presents? I don't have any presents.
All right, enough of this. Unless you've come back to tell Mr. MacFie that you're going to approve his loan, then you're not welcome here, sir.
That's right. Just say the word, Mr. Mack, and we'll throw him out.
Gentlemen, ladies, please try to understand my position. I don't want anyone to lose their jobs, but I didn't invent the King's spindle carving machine. The bank is just trying to keep up with the times.
The time? Yes, look at the time. It's past midnight. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Auntie. Maybe it would be best if you just...
It's Christmas, Vernon. Time to bring out your Christmas present.
I told you I don't have any...
Your Christmas present, the present that was given to you.
I still don't
Vernon?
know what you're talking about. Oh, yes, something was given to me. Oh, the angel.
Ah, there it is.
Do you remember, Vernon, when I gave you this angel? I told you that it was a reminder of a marvelous announcement of a glorious event. Do you remember what the first words of that announcement were, sir? Do not be afraid. Funny thing, my dear wife said those very words to me just a little while ago. I'll tell you what, Vernon. I am not going to let a single employee go. And we are going to keep on making furniture the way that we always have. And if that means I lose this loan, then so be it. We may be on the edge of a new century with unlimited potential on the horizon and amazing technology. We can't lose sight of what is good and true and worth saving. Maybe, just maybe, in the middle of all that is new, there's a room for a little of the old-fashioned, the tried and true. A place for those of us who are a little behind the times. I am going to listen to this angel's message and try to fear not. We will trust in the Lord, and a way will be found somehow.
Hooray for Mr. Mack! Mrs. Mack!
There were shepherds in the fields who watched their flocks by night. the good news. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. What did he say? Fear not. We will trust in God alone. He's at our right hand. Though the future is unknown and hard to understand, we will move ahead in faith, every step along the way, confident that God will guide each and every day. When century ends, when new begins, what will the future hold? Times do change, but God does not, an anchor strong and bold. All that we have is from Him. We know we can trust Him with all. Our fears He knows, our tears He sees, and tells us what fear not. How often does God remind us that we should not fear? It's in His word, so we can't miss. We hear it loud and clear. Fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be I don't know what the future holds or how it will play out. For I know my tendency to nurse my heart of doubt. Yet I know the one I believe, who shows us in so many ways. Now do not fear, do not fear. He says to us, fear not, fear not, fear not.
Well, Vernon, I hope this angel ornament brightens your tree tonight. Its message has surely brightened everything here.
Thank you, John. You know, John, your aunt is a wise woman. She said something to me earlier this evening, and I think it's why I found myself on your doorstep just a few minutes ago, but I didn't know it at the time. She said I needed to open myself up to new possibilities. And well, what I'm trying to say is, I would very much like to come and work for you, John, as your accountant.
Vernon, you would leave your position at the bank to work for a small company like mine?
I know it sounds crazy, but I've come to realize, John, that I need to be working with people like this, people that act like family, and for someone like you, who treats them that way.
I appreciate the compliment, but you know that I can't afford to pay you.
I know. Here's the thing. When I was going over your books, I did notice several places where we could save some money and several instances where it could be spent more wisely. I could make do with less than a full salary until I could help you out and bring in the extra income.
I don't know what to say. That's a rather generous offer. It would be wonderful to have someone with your background working on my books. And a real relief to Emily here. All right, Vernon Wellstone, I will accept your offer. Welcome to the Pennsylvania Handcrafted Furniture Company.
It seems the angel's message was meant for more than just one of us tonight. John, what's this?
What?
This here, over the angel's heart.
Just a shiny piece of glass, I believe.
Well, I'm not an expert, but I do have knowledge in such matters, and If I'm right, you're not going to need that loan from the bank anyway.
I don't understand.
What you have here is a diamond.
What?
Where did you say this ornament came from?
Aunt Lettie. Aunt Lettie makes them. Aunt Lettie, where did you get the stone that you put in the angel ornament?
You will address us as Your Majesty.
Aunt Lettie.
John. Your Majesty, is the stone in the angel a diamond?
Diamonds? Oh, yes, my diamond jubilee was wonderful, wasn't it? But that was a few years ago when I turned 75. Oh, you remember, dear? The people, they held such a party for me. Oh, they loved it, didn't they?
Yes.
Oh, they all loved it.
It was lovely, I remember. But the stone in the angel ornament, where did it come from? This one.
Oh, that. Oh, my husband, Prince Albert, gave me those little trinkets when he passed away so many years ago. That's the last one. The very last one. That is.
Do you think your uncle actually left?
Do you think she's been putting diamonds in these ornaments all these years and didn't know what they were?
I don't understand. Your uncle is Prince Albert?
No, she's confusing him with her husband. He died 10 years ago, but I never knew that he left her diamonds.
And you don't think she ever knew?
She was awfully anxious for Vernon to bring this ornament out.
Well, wherever it came from, you could get enough from this to nearly equal the amount of the loan that you needed.
And we'll all pitch in whatever we can to help raise the rest of it, won't we, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you all. Your generosity tonight is overwhelming. But there's just one thing. The ornament belongs to you. I gave it to you as a gift, and you may need it now that you're leaving the bank.
Yes, there is that, isn't there? Well, as my first act as your accountant, I return it to you, sir. I have already gained something important tonight. I have begun to understand that life's successes are not measured by how fast you move forward or what you acquire. It's measured by...
What, Mr. Wellstone?
No, it's not a... Oh, no. Not that again, Your Highness. It's measured not by what, but by who you put your trust in.
Exactly, Mr. Wellstone.
Vernon said that the angel's message was meant for more than one of us. Indeed, I believe it was meant for all of us. The whole world, in fact. And just like those shepherds on that first Christmas night, we need to set aside all of our fear and listen to the amazing message. There is much to fear in this world. There's no doubt about that. We've seen it tonight. And there's no amount of position or money in the world that can make that go away. But tonight, of all nights, we remember that we have hope because somebody came to show us the way when it gets dark. Somebody came to shine a light when we can't see the road. Somebody came to save us from fear and darkness. Fear not, I bring you tidings of great joy. A Savior is born.
I bring you tidings of great joy. A Savior is born. Did someone actually step in and save the day 2,000 years ago?
And maybe he's still saving the day today, every day.
I wonder. Lynette? Look what else is in here.
it's
A message? Maybe. Do not be afraid. You know, maybe John was right. Even when we can't see the road ahead, maybe God can.
I heard something once. Sometimes the Lord calms the storm. Sometimes he lets the storm rage and he calms his child.
I don't know what the future holds or how it will play out. For I know my tendency to nurse my heart of doubt.
I know the one I believe, who shows us in so many ways.
Our fears he knows, our tears he sees, and says, my child, fear
Well, you know, I never did find that light I was looking for.
Oh, I don't know. I think maybe you did.